Yeah, welcome to our interview. My name is Pasha.
Pasha, please stop. We'll start in 1 or 2 minutes.
All right.
Okay. Okay, after the stream begins. I guess we can start now. Hello again.
Hey.
All right. So, hello, welcome. Already third time. My name is Pasha. Today I'm here with Vlad. We will ask you some interesting question to know a little bit more about yourself.
Mhm.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, are you studying or working somewhere, or maybe just like any sphere where you want to start building your career?
Mhm. So, I'm 36 now. I had worked with translation for more than 15 years since university until I moved to Sweden. But the thing is, in Sweden, when you work with translation, you work into your mother tongue. Mine is Brazilian Portuguese. I'm Brazilian. And there's no demand for English Portuguese here in Sweden. At least I didn't find any. And of course, I can work with companies abroad, but for them, it's always cheaper to work with someone who's living in Brazil and pay Brazilian prices instead of Sweden's cost of life, which is very high. So I thought it was a good moment to change a bit. So right now, of course, I had to take a break as well to study Swedish. And now I'm studying game design and agile methods, Scrum mainly. My idea is to become a game producer. I love gaming. I'm a very big gamer myself, but also my husband works in the industry. I have friends in this industry, and I became fascinated on how the games are made. We always watch a bunch of videos about it and discuss it, and I just got really interested in the making of it as well, as influenced by these friends and family and my husband, of course. So that's what I'm doing right now. Besides that, now I'm also studying Ukrainian for obvious reasons. And one thing that is kind of stopping me actually going work full time, I don't want any job that would prevent me to go back to Ukraine at the moment. So I'm more looking for remote jobs or some odd jobs I can do when I'm in Sweden, but then that also would allow me to travel to Ukraine every few months. So this is happening right now. It's kind of a mess. But yeah.
Can I ask you one question? What do you think about Ukrainian? Is it hard for.
Yes.
Really?
Actually, it's the hardest language I've tried to learn.
How many languages do you know?
It depends on what you say you know. I speak English and Portuguese fluently, of course. I also can communicate, but I'm not completely fluent yet in Swedish and Spanish. And then I can some, but not enough to hold a conversation, for example. French, a little German. Yeah. And then I study just for fun some Finnish and some Japanese. Japanese, to be honest, I stopped very early on. I know the alphabet and some kanjis, but not much grammar. But yeah, that's it.
That's amazing.
So, for you, Ukrainian is more difficult than Japanese.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Japanese sounds are very easy. Okay, grammar is not easy. And learning all the kanji can be very hard, but at the same time, it's like learning new words. It's basically the same. You start to understand how the kanji are formed, and oh, this part means that, and okay, this means this. It's logical. You can do it. But the sounds are very easy. My problem with Ukrainian is, first of all, your sounds. You have so many weird sounds I can't produce yet. And sometimes I can't hear the difference. You have, for example, the h and the h. I hear the
Mhm.
same. I hear absolutely the same. I don't know what the difference is. I'm trying. And I know if you say like I'm hungry or I'm cold, holodna, holodna, for me it's the same word and people know you're saying you're cold and I'm not. I don't know how to do it. There's some sounds I can't even hear the difference. So the this part is different, and also you have cases like German and Finnish, but then you have masculine and feminine, and you have several plurals. Someone like I can't remember a single Odingrik, dva rik, but then Piat Rikiv. But then if you go to 21, it changes again. And why? So yeah, Ukrainian is very difficult, but I'm having fun learning it.
And how do you learn this language? Like by yourself or through the with some teacher or just with like Duolingo or something?
Yeah, for now by myself. I bought some books about Ukrainian when I was there last time. Not last time. Anyways, I bought some books about Ukrainian English. A friend gave me a book as well about pronunciation. I think it was aimed at Russian speaking learning Ukrainian, but it's still very good. It helps me practice it. Duolingo, of course. I think everyone who starts learning a language these days do that. And I'm looking for, as soon as I finish my Duolingo, I'm in the last units. I want to start to have a tutor, especially for speaking. And of course, something that helps me a lot, a lot, a lot. I have amazing friends in Ukraine right now, which always help me. So, especially when I'm there, they correct how I'm saying things, and we don't chat exactly, but we can speak a little Ukrainian, and they correct me and they teach me. For example, I was there last Easter, so we were practicing to say the Easter greeting, Christus Vostros. We were practicing it and how to answer. So it helps a lot to be able to practice the language with people. Not only that, I have a friend, Lera. She always forces me to order my food in Ukrainian. She's there. If I make any mistakes, she's there to help me. But she just look at me, okay, your time, order. And I was, oh God, in the beginning it was very hard, but you start to get it. So that's good as well.
Great to hear that people from different parts of the world really like our language. So let's move to another question. Regarding where you live now, we understand you were born in Brazil but moved to Europe. Can you tell us
Mhm.
why and how hard it was to get used to different mentality, the country in general, and the climate as well?
Okay. I'm born, raised, lived all my life in São Paulo, Brazil,
Mm.
which is a huge city. We have more people in São Paulo than in the country of Sweden. Uh, but then in 2021, January, we moved here, me and my husband. He was hired by a company here. So we moved. But the thing is, it was not only because of that, we actually decided to move abroad because the political situation in Brazil had been very messy since 2013. We had a terrible, terrible president. Bolsonaro was really bad, and we didn't feel safe in Brazil anymore. It became a point we really didn't feel safe. Things were getting worse and worse. I remember when I was a kid, I could see a lot of people living on the streets, under bridges. And as the 90s and early 2000s, these people get homes again. So you see this progress, you see these things getting better. But then the last 5 years or so, when I was in Brazil, people were back in the poverty line, not having anything to eat, having to live under the bridge again. Violence skyrocket. Uh, there were fights to, for bones, literally, and we just it didn't. I don't know. We didn't feel safe there, and the fact that most Brazilians were supporting the president, it was very hard to make any change. So and I always wanted to live abroad. I wanted to do an exchange student program when I was younger, but I couldn't because of money. Uh, so I always wanted to live abroad. We just decided, okay, we live in Europe for a few years. We check things, and now we just want to live here forever. We got used to it. But yeah, it wasn't good in Brazil, so we decided to move. And then my husband started looking for other jobs. He found this one amazing and massive. He's working on the Outlaws game that is releasing this month. Yes. And he was, of course, very excited when he knew what game it was and the company and everything. So we moved here. About how difficult it is, it's very difficult. Not gonna lie. It's not only the language, which in Sweden we are very pampered in the sense that everyone speaks very good English. So it was never a real problem of not being able to communicate with people, but you still want to speak their language. You still want to, when there's just Swedish people talking, you don't want them to switch to English because of you. And you want to be part of the culture as well, of course. It's more than just communicating. So there was the language, of course, and there's always a new mentality about how people relate to each other, how people greet, how distant from each other you stand when you're talking, how much is okay to smile, how much is okay to swear, touch other people, um, kiss on the cheek or not. Brazilians hug a lot and kiss a lot, and it's totally different in Sweden, for example. And climate, the weather here is terrible. We are having a very good summer actually, but it's mostly very gray and rainy. And during winter, sometimes I woke up early morning, it's still dark. 2, 3 in the afternoon, it's already dark again. And it's just, I miss the sun. I
Do you
used to
miss
joke,
about your oven?
yeah, it's that it's difficult, especially because you see your friends and family's life continue, of course, as they should, and you're not completely a part of that as well. So it's not only about the things you miss regarding weather, food, culture, but also the people you live there. That, of course, you can maintain contact online. Technology is amazing for this, but it's never the same. So it is hard.
And do you live in Stockholm or in some other
Malmo.
city? In
I
Malmo.
live in Malmo. Yeah, it's south of Sweden, closer to Copenhagen, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, where there was the Eurovision this time. I think everybody knows where Malmo is now.
Okay, so maybe partial. Let's move on.
All right, yeah, let's move to the next question. Regarding your activity, you're a volunteer.
Mhm.
Is it your job or do you do it just by choice?
Kind of neither right now. It's not a job in the sense I don't get paid for it, but right now it's my main activity. I volunteer while I'm in Ukraine, of course, but also when I'm here, I do some volunteer work as well for the organizations in Ukraine. So, for example, I have House Kitchen Kharkiv. I've been working on their Instagram English page to try to reach people from abroad as well because it's important. So, I've been doing that. There's some other things I've been doing as well, but I mainly volunteer right now, but I don't get paid for it. So, not exactly a job. And also, it's hard for me to say it's a choice because, yes, it began as a choice. I decided to go to Ukraine, and but everything changed after the first time in Ukraine. Now I have friends there. I have places I feel home in, uh, houses of friends. I live when I'm there, both in Kiev and Kharkiv. Uh, I gained friends and I lost friends because of this. It doesn't feel like a choice anymore in the sense that this affects me now. I may not be Ukrainian, of course, but this is my fight as well, and there's no way I'm living it. There's I don't feel I have a choice. It's not right for me not to do something. So it of course became as a choice, but right now it's just life. It is a necessity. It's something I need to do.
Have you been in Ukraine before the war started?
No,
No, no.
no, never. My
Was you
first time
interested
is June.
in our culture, or maybe?
So, to be honest, in Brazil, we hear nothing about Ukraine. I learned, of course, there was the Soviet Union, and then it broke, and then this list of countries came into existence, and that was it. We learned nothing about Ukraine. And then, of course, I heard news about my dam and after the annexation of Crimea, but I read the news. I wasn't that much invested in it. It was something very far away in a very far away country, you know. But when the full scale began, I had a friend, very close friend, and I started to read the news, to follow the news, to know how to support her. She's Ukrainian but lives in Sweden. He's married to a Swede. She's married to a Swede. And I just starting to read the news to kind of understand what she's going on and understand how to support her. And but the thing is, Ukrainians are amazing. I kept seeing how you guys fight and the memes about the war, and people with no guns stopping a tank, or people with no training destroying drones, and the army saying, "Please stop firing against the drones. We have air defense." And young people and old people just sitting down to protect their cities and block the path and things like that. And it was just so inspiring. So I started learning a bit of the language. I kept following the news, and I just became in love with Ukrainian language and culture and music. I listen now to a bunch of Ukrainian bands as well. I'm not good with names, but if you see my Spotify, it's mostly Ukrainian now. Um, but yeah, it just became something mine as well. And then of course, I was donating already at the time, but I was not doing something practical, anything practical here. Uh, but when they exploded the Hakovka dam, it was kind of the last drop. I wanted to do something more effective. I wanted to be part of it, so that's why I went there for the first time.
Okay, what's your favorite band or maybe a singer?
I'm obsessed with the Hard Kiss. I listen to them a lot. I saw the Hard Kiss live in Prague, and then Yulia Sanina twice in Ukraine. Um, I'm terrible with names. I would check my Spotify because every name that is in Ukraine is harder for me to pronounce, of course. Where is? I'm just looking for my own repeat. That is Krut. I'm not sure. Jerry Hill, of course. Kalush. Odin Kanoi. Uh, Antilita. Hate Speech. Max Barskin. Shiv or Chev. No, not sure. Mamarika Cola. Uh, and Breeze. I love the Occupante. Um, Se Passa, I also hear them a lot. Christina my phone just died, but Christina Solovny, something like that. Um, as I mentioned, I don't, especially the hard keys is easy because it's an English word, hate speech as well. Uh, but I'm still not very familiar with the Ukrainian names. I know the songs. I sing very badly to it, butchering all the lyrics. But yeah, but I hear them a lot.
You have a lot of Ukrainian Ukrainian artists.
Yeah, I'm dying to go to a music festival or something like that when I'm in Ukraine. But at the same time, I feel the time. My time is so constrained because of these things. I can't stay that long in the country. I have because I'm Brazilian, I can stay up for 3 months every six. But because I'm living in Sweden, I have to stay in Sweden longer. Otherwise, I'll have problems with my visa here as well. So I usually stay 4 to 5 months in Ukraine every year. And this time I'm volunteering most of the times. So it feels kind of weird to stop what I'm doing to go to a music festival or something like that. I know there was one now, I forgot the name. It just ended now, or it's just happening now in the beginning of August. And I was almost, because I'm going there next week, I was almost going a little bit so sooner to be able to go to the festival before I go volunteering. But then I would have less time to stay there to volunteer later in the year. So I felt, okay, I can't. Um, yeah, I'm here this week. I'll be there next Tuesday.
Hope you'll visit one day a music festival.
Yeah, I'll be going a lot, especially after the war, after Victory Day. I'm sure there'll be so many events and things like
Sure.
that.
So, Pasha, maybe let's continue.
Yeah, it's your question next.
Okay. Uh, if a person wants to start helping people, how can it be realized? It's the easiest way.
I think the first thing is donating. Find something you are interested in, some organization you trust, and donate for it. And oh, I don't have money. I do believe, of course, there are people who actually don't have money, but most of us do have. We go to coffee shops. We splurge a little bit. So, maybe skip one coffee and donate the amount of. Here in Sweden, just a cup of cappuccino or latte is about 4 to 5 euros. Skip one per month and donate this. Or you were going to take a bus to somewhere that is close enough for you to walk. Walk this day. It's good for your health as well. Walk this day, take the money you save, donate another, I don't know, 2 3 euros. Thinking about Swedish prices. Um, or you're going out. with friends for some beers, or do it at home. It's cheaper to drink at home. Make a party at home, a movie night. I don't know, but you know that without impacting your life that much, you can actually uh, save enough to donate. And again, if you donate, it doesn't. You don't need to donate a lot. Of course, if you have the opportunity to do it, it's better. But uh, there's no small amount, especially when you're talking about prices in countries in Europe that is so expensive. So everything you donate helps. The second thing, if you actually want to do something yourself besides donating, which of course I understand the need, you can start by sharing online. Make sure you don't share fake news for God's sake, but share online what's happening so more people know. Share online the work of organizations you know and trust. And then if you go want to go the extra step and actually do something with your own hands, just find online organizations you trust. Basically, when I decided to go, I decided I wanted to volunteer in Ukraine. I literally Google volunteering in Ukraine, went through a bunch of organizations, and reach out, check what they were doing, what they needed, if I was a good fit, I wasn't a good fit, chose one, went to work. We then made a bunch of friends. And now my friends also, oh, there's this organization in this part, you can go there, or things like that. So the first step is the hardest, in the sense you don't know what to do or who to trust, but just go online, find somewhere, start. You probably not stay in that organization and that exactly job forever, but it's a start, and you start to know people with the same mentality and the same desire to help. And that's the most important thing, because then this whole network starts forming, and you start to help each other to find other things to do as well, and how you can be more useful. So it's just find somewhere you trust, of course, and start. It doesn't matter if for this in English, in Swedish, in Ukrainian, for example, armatura. I have no idea what the name for it is in English, and I don't know the name for it in Portuguese. Relax, I call it armatura now. It's fine by me, and I just learned doing, and that's something like you don't need to have experience in what you are volunteering for. You can learn while you're doing it, and then of course you get better and faster and can help the other people who want to help as well. So
Okay,
it's a good thing.
but in your account description there is a link. It's some site for raising funds, and or what is it? I saw it.
Oh, my during my birthday, I decided I didn't want any gifts. I have more than enough, let's be honest. So I just ask everyone, if you wanted to take a coffee with me, we can drink the coffee here at home, but the money we're going to spend in that coffee, put there. If you were willing to go have drinks with me, we can still have drinks at my place, but if donate. And of course, if you were going to give me a present, the only gift I want is, drones and medical equipment and bombs. I kept joking I was buying a bomb for my birthday. And my friends were not sure if I was joking or not. Like, how are you going to send a bomb there? And I was, no, 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 I'm joking. But the only gift I wanted for my birthday was actually people to donate to Ukraine. I want people to know what is happening, and I want people to engage with it. So I started a call on fundraising for my birthday, and that was it. I'm actually starting a new one right now. It's not running yet, but I'm getting a buy me a coffee, just so people can, support every month with
Like a
the
patch
value of
rally.
a. Yeah, and I would of course put videos and things like that, about the things I do in Ukraine, especially now I'm going back soon, for people to donate something. But then, of course, I would use the money in Ukraine, not for me, but for the organizations I'm working with. Just I'll be there so I can see, okay, they're needing this right now. I can buy this and just take. And I think it's a faster way to get donations because people don't. That's the thing. People don't know which organizations to trust. Even other volunteers. I'm in a bunch of volunteer groups on WhatsApp and Telegram, and people were always asking, "Oh, do anyone know this organization? Is it trustworthy? Is it okay?" They are asking for this, and that. And even people who are involved in this don't know who to trust. So, of course, it's harder for someone outside to donate money and say, "Okay, I know it's safe." And for them, I actually always say, just go for United 24. It's easy. You don't need to do much research. But if you want to go to organizations, I always recommend a few and kind of say to people what they can look for, to make sure they are doing a job there actually and not just scamming people, which unfortunately we hear about.
Yeah, even today in Ukraine there are a lot of scamming stuff like pet shelters and so on.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the next question.
Mhm.
Um, Also about volunteering. Do you have some people who help you with all this work, or you do it just by your own?
Uh, I have I have many friends that I don't have exactly like a volunteer team, but I have friends there. And of course, I have the organizations I'm volunteering for, which are a team. So I work a lot. I think the organization I work the most with is the House Kitchen Kharkiv, Pekelna Kuchnia. Uh, and they are a very big team, very warm, very lovely, lovely, hardworking people, and it's always very pleasant when I say, "Okay, I'm going back to Kharkiv. I'll be there those days," and things like that. And I have friends, especially from Bor, Budujemy Ukrainu razом. That was my first experience in Ukraine. And I have been working with Bor. I did two camps, but I haven't been going back with Bor because it's usually more constrained for me in time. But I have friends from there, and now always okay. For example, Lera, she was my roommate during my first week in Ukraine, and I always at her place when I go to Kiev. I just text her, "Can I stay?" And she's usually offended that I'm even asking. Same for Alicia in Kharkiv. So it's usually I have people who welcome me basically into their homes and um, which help me stay in Ukraine longer without having to pay for other stuff and also to feel more welcome and to interact more because the best meals I had was homemade meals in their grandmas and grandpas houses and their parents houses and things like that. The best exchange is always, with Ukrainians, with their families, with their friends, and things like that. So it's something very, very, it's amazing. I
So you could
wouldn't have this
feel,
experience if I had in a hotel or something like that.
so you could feel Ukrainian culture like from inside, from a real grandmother, from a grandpa.
Yeah, you go to the dacha and just talk to the grandma and grandpa who don't speak English. So it's a lot of translations. Last time was very funny because, of course, I don't understand much and I don't speak much. I'm starting. But my friend translated correctly what I said, and I wanted to troll her, and I just, Yannicka Zalatak. And everyone was looking and laughing, and okay, what are you doing? It's just fun. This thing about hearing about their childhoods, and people were always so happy to talk about their childhoods and going to their grandma and grandpas and the dachas and swimming at the river and the songs, and it's amazing. And their family histories as well. I remember once we were walking from the object to the camp, and this girl was singing next to me a beautiful song. And then I asked her about the song, and she mentioned it was actually the song her grandparents uh, loved. It was a very old Ukrainian song. And then she started talking to me about her grandparents, who actually were fighting for independence. I'm not sure if I'm not sure the dates, but they are fighting, long ago. And they were sent to Siberia. They didn't know each other. They met at the prison in Siberia. Um, and then they married, had kids, came back to Ukraine, of course, and now they have family. Uh, and this kind of exchanges, they are so rich. And people, and this is something I absolutely love about Ukraine. People are so eager to share their histories and their culture and everything. It's completely amazing. It's a delightful way to experience a culture like that.
Okay, what about your first impression when you came to Ukraine? Let's not speak about war, just you got out of the plane and what? No,
Yeah, I got out of the plane in Poland.
yeah, in Poland, then by bus, we know.
Yeah, I the first time I went by bus. Now I just take the train. God save Ukrzaliznicy.
Yeah.
But the first time I didn't know there was a train, and I went by bus. My first impression was actually inside the bus. I remember seeing how beautiful and clean everything was. I didn't expect the road to be that clean and that well kept. Right, a little after the border, even before Lviv, it was kind of a very striking difference, which I didn't expect. And I remember when we were arriving in Lviv, uh, all the women were getting, all together, brushing their hairs, and making up and getting all. And I was okay. I've been in this bus for 17 hours. I'm barely alive right now. And they were all, happy and get together. And it was impressive to see them just so well put and looking so well after this long journey. Not comfortable one by bus. And then my first impressions in Lviv. It was raining, which everyone tells me, yeah, of course it's Lviv, but it's a very beautiful city and it was very lively. Uh, every coffee shop, every restaurant, it's a very lively, bustling uh, atmosphere, and people were just enjoying the day. And of course, then we had the air raid, but between air raids, it's such a nice and very European way of living. It's the same you see in some other very touristic cities, of course. But I don't know if I expected that. So this kind of stayed with me. And also some amazingly friend people. Because people told me, oh no, you can go find with Ukrainian, not a problem. That was not the case. I Most of the restaurants, the cafes I went to, they didn't spoke and they didn't speak any English. So it was hard because I didn't have my SIM card yet. I didn't have internet to use Google Translate. So it was a mess for me to order. But then every time someone would come to me, someone who were, just at the restaurant or cafe and saw that, they would come to me, okay, I can help you. What do you want to order? And they would help me. Or one couple actually invited me to eat with them. So my first dinner in Lviv was together with people I had never met, and then we kept talking. Uh, that there was a cafe. It was the same thing. I was completely. I actually got lost in Lviv because again I didn't have internet, and I ended up in the outskirts of the city, I believe. But then I was walking, I just saw a church, and okay, I remember this church. I'm going to that tower. And when I was going there, I saw this beautiful cafe, very cozy. And I entered, and I kind of already knew the woman would not speak English, but you know. But then this guy who was there, he lived in Spain, so he spoke Spanish. He helped me. We sat down for coffee, and we kept talking and exchanged contacts. We actually didn't keep in contact after, but um, everyone was so understanding and friendly. And understanding, I mean, the people who are having to deal with you when you are ordering things, they are doing their jobs. And then there's someone who doesn't speak your language trying to order and making a mess of themselves. They could be impatient, but they were not. They were, laughing and helping and showing things and pointing a lot, and until communication became a thing, and we could actually talk in our own pointing and gesturing kind of way. But um, this was those are my first impressions, and of course, my first impressions were of Lviv, where I spent my first 2 days before going to Odessa, where I was volunteering.
And would you like to stay there for like really long time in
Yeah,
Ukraine?
yeah. Uh, of course, it's a decision I can take by myself. I am married, and my husband has a whole life and career here. So this will have to be something we would have to discuss together. Right now, it's not a possibility, uh, but otherwise, I can keep coming and going as well, of course. But yeah, I love Ukraine. I would love to spend some very long time there.
What city
And do you
would
think?
sorry, Pasha.
Keep going. No, no, keep going.
Okay, and what city would you like to choose to for living? Maybe it's
Sorry?
Lviv. What city would you like to choose for living in Ukraine?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't know. Probably Kiev or Kharkiv. But maybe because those are the cities I spend the most time in, so I'm more used to them. And they both have their things I absolutely love. It's hard for me to choose, but and that's the thing. I love. I always fell in love with every city I visit. I know I wouldn't be in any village or anything like that because I'm not used to small spaces. I mean, I lived in São Paulo my whole life. I don't think I would adapt to something so small. But any major city, I just feel at home very instantly, very easily. And I fall in love with every single Ukrainian city I visit. My friends always joke about that because I keep taking pictures and looking all, exploring and discovering the place. Um, it's yeah, but I'm not sure. Probably Kiev or Kharkiv.
And you were in Kiev, Kharkiv, and Lviv, right?
And Odessa,
And this
Chernihiv. I went to Zaporizhia, Dnipro, Zhytomyr. I think that was it.
it's quite a lot anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think, for example, if you will move to Ukraine, for you it will be easier to integrate to this society, to this Ukrainian mentality? It will be more easier than to integrate to
To
Swedish, for
Sweden.
example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, Ukrainian people are warmer and more open than Swedish people, and this is closer, and it's not, oh, this is better because of it. It's just, it's closer to what I have at home. It's closer to Brazilian culture, in this sense. So it would be easier for me to adapt there for sure.
Um, if compare your native country and Ukraine, what's the most striking differences?
The thing is, what struck me the most about comparing Brazil and Ukraine are not the differences, but how similar the countries are in some senses. I was very surprised to realize the culinary. It's not exactly similar, but we have some dishes in common. Dishes I never we just had in Brazil, and I never saw them anywhere else. And then I go to Ukraine, and oh my god, yes, I know this. I eat this at home, and this is very interesting. Also, the way people just are, this warm and welcoming culture of hosting people and embracing people and inviting them to your home and your family. This is something very, very Brazilian to me. And it's also very Ukrainian. I see this a lot in Ukraine. So it's harder for me to say the differences, because what is what hits me the most is how similar it is, despite, the culture, of course, is very different. And the language, of course, is very different. And we have different histories, in the sense, Brazil's native peoples were almost decimated when we were invaded. And we still speak Portuguese. We don't speak Brazilian. We don't have a Brazilian native tongue. We speak Portuguese. So we actually made peace with our colonizers over time. Um, and so we see this kind of difference. I can understand a lot of this hatred about Russian invading the country. Of course, not only now, I mean, through history. Um, this Every time they try to make their culture and impose the culture into Ukraine, we had the same in Brazil. So I think every colonized country can understand how messy this is, how wrong this is. You had a whole culture, you have a whole language, you have everything, you have a society there, and they are trying to destroy it to impose their own. And of course, this happening in the 21st century seems unbelievable, but here we are. But yeah.
And if we're talking, for example, about Ukrainian kitchen, what was the best meals that you have tried there?
Ooh, I absolutely love varenika, kvass, and borscht. I actually know how to make a very good borscht. Dziękuję Taras, who taught me. He taught me his family recipe. I actually make some borscht here in Sweden as well. And I love varenika. Every time I go there, I always eat a lot and kvass. But also, I love, what's the name? It's a white soup. It's cold white with some dill.
Okroshka.
Akroshka.
Akroska. I love akroska. It's something very nice as well to take with you in the train, because you're going to get hungry, and you always get a good one in Silpo, or you just go to the supermarket. That will be akroska. It's nice. The potato pancakes, very good as well.
Draniki.
Yeah, Napoleon cake as well, very good. Green borscht. I don't know how to do this one yet, but also very good. And I think you have this. respect with the ingredients. Uh, I feel Ukrainian cuisine is very simple in the sense it's not a bunch of complicated and exotic ingredients and methods, but it's food from home, you know, the food you eat in your grandma's, and it's very filling and it's very comfortable. Um, um, yeah, I love Ukrainian cuisine. And you have a very good snacks game as well, by the way. When I go there, I also buy a bunch of fizzy bars, uh, Tom Maslow, and Bob's Nail
Hmm.
because they're so good. And it's something easy for me to bring, of course. But you have very nice snacks, like even more conventional ones. I mean, like store bought as well.
And what would you recommend for people who are going to visit our country in the first time, for the first time?
Learn some Ukrainian. Just the basic. Привіт, дякую, вибачте. Just go to the very basics and learn a little bit, because even of course you won't be able to communicate with just that, but you warm up, you open up the opportunity for it. When people see you are trying, at least you are respectful of their culture, of their language, of the fact that you are in their country, they are always more open up. And then make sure you interact with people, with the locals, I mean. Don't go just to, you know, the touristic places with your, I don't know, tour and other foreigners. And because the best thing about Ukraine, which is a beautiful country, don't get me wrong, but the best thing is the Ukrainians, is this connection. So make sure you have opportunities to actually interact with the culture and interact with the people, because that's the best part of the country. That's what makes you fall in love with it. Uh, so yeah, don't stay in your English speaking foreigner bubble. Go and talk to people, because that's the best part.
Okay, thank you for the respect of our country, for our nation. And before the end of our conversation, please answer our traditional question. Describe what's Ukraine for you in 3 words. For example, for
Three
me,
words.
it's like mother, cuisine, and sin.
Three words. Thinking. Hospitality, resilience, freedom. I
Great.
think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Uh, Maybe Pasha would like to say something.
Yeah, thank you for coming to this interview to ask our questions. Now we know a little bit more about you, about your life.
Thank you for, the space. It was a nice chat.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad to hear that there are a lot of people who really respects no, our traditions, our culture, and our language as well. So have a good day.
You too.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.